Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yukari Semba. I'm a project research fellow of the Institute for Gender Studies, Ochanomizu University in Tokyo. I'm really honored to be able to hear today, and thank you for providing me the opportunity to share my research with you today. And today's presentation title is Abolition of Gamete Donor Anonymity, what can Japan learn from the experience of Victoria State in Australia and New Zealand. So let me start my presentation. Many children have been born from donor insemination in Japan, Australia, and New Zealand in the more than 7 years since the procedure became available in 1940s. In all three countries, secrecy about donor insemination was considered important to protect fathers from the shame and stigma associated with late infertility and to conceal their perceived failure of masculinity. In addition, it was believed that donor anonymity or secrecy surrounding donor conception were necessary to protect the well-being of donor conceived children and the privacy of donors. However, the state of Victoria in Australia and New Zealand moved to adopt an open gamete and embryo donation policy and to regulate it through legislations. Japan alone maintained the policy of donor anonymity of the state countries. Recently, there is a worldwide plan to eliminate gamete donor anonymity. It may be that the time has come for Japan to establish donor anonymity. So in this presentation, I will examine the background of abolition of anonymity in the state of Victoria in Australia and New Zealand. Then I consider what Japan can learn from their experience as it shifts from closed to open gamete donation. So let's look at the situation in Japan. As of 2019, there are no laws and regulations regarding third-party reproduction in Japan. Most fertility clinics and gynecologists practice donor conception following the guidelines of the Japan Society of Obstetrics and Gynecologists. Long name, so I say JSOG. The guidelines permit only artificial insemination, IUI, with donated sperm, but prohibit IVF making use of donated gamete and embryos and surrogacy in Japan. The guidelines are not legally binding, so some clinics have been implementing IVF using donated gametes and surrogacy. In Japan, donor insemination has a history of about 70 years, and sperm donors have been anonymous since the first GI baby was born. Recently, however, Japan has come to recognize that the donor conceived children's right to know their biological origins is important. Therefore, there is a debate that gamete donation should be limited to non-anonymous donors in order to respect the well-being of donor conceived people, and that the right of donor offspring to obtain their donors identifying information should be secured by law. Let's look at the historical background. In Japan, donor insemination has been practiced since 1948. The exact number of GI births is not known, but it is reported that more than 20,000 offspring have been born using donor insemination. Recently, intracytoplasmic sperm injection, we call it ICSI, has become more common. And since then, the annual number of babies who are born through donor insemination is decreasing. At present, around 100 babies are born from this technique every year. So look at this. In 1948, Dr. Kakuichi Ando of Keio University Medical School in Tokyo implemented donor insemination first time in Japan at the request of a couple. And the first baby was born in 1949. And Dr. Ando strongly insisted that donors should be anonymous and the recipient couples should not disclose their use of EI to anybody. Dr. Ando's ideas were adapted in the JSOG guidelines, which specify that sperm donors should be anonymous to protect their privacy. Donor anonymity still exists in Japan. More than half of the EI treatment in Japan every year were conducted at Keio University Hospital in Tokyo, which implemented around 1,500 procedures annually following the first one by Dr. Ando. However, the hospital stopped taking appointment for DI in the summer of 2018 because of fall in the number of anonymous sperm donors. Most donors fear that their identity will leak. Infantile Japanese couples seeking to conceive with a donated sperm or donated eggs are likely to turn to overseas sperm bank or egg bank, or even online sperm donation because of the drop in donations. Next, let's look at the situation in Australia and New Zealand. According to the Australian and New Zealand Assisted Reproductive Database, the number of gamete and embryo treatment cycles has been increasing gradually in two countries. And about 6,500 donor gamete and embryo treatment recipient cycles were performed, and 1,100 babies, about 1,100 babies were born by donated gamete and embryo treatment in 2016. Ethical guidelines on the use of assisted reproductive technology in clinical practice and research came into effect in 2005. In the guidelines, the Australian National Health and Medical Research Council stated that persons conceived using ART procedure are entitled to know their genetic parents, thereby potentially removing a donor's ability to remain anonymous in any Australian states. But only Victoria, Western Australia, New South Wales, and South Australia has legislation that enables donor-conceived people to obtain information about their donors. These are those states the name of legislations. In those four states, Victoria's legislation is very unique in the world. So I will provide some basic information regarding donor conception in the state of Victoria. In Victoria, until the 1980s, a culture of secrecy about the use of donor sperm prevailed. Doctors advised or encouraged recipient couples to keep secrecy about using donated sperm and endorsed donor anonymity. As a result, most children born by this procedure were never told about their conception. However, the attitude towards donor conception began to change, and society began to accept the view that children had the right to know their biological origins and that there was a need for regulation covering donor conception. There were debates about the right of adopted people to have access to information about their birth parents in the 1970s. It might have affected the social attitude change of the donor conception. In 1988, the Fertility Act 1984 was enacted, and then people born by donor insemination are after 1988 became to be able to acquire the right to obtain their donors in identifying information when they reach the age of 18. So the state of Victoria ended anonymous donation in July 1988. The Standing Review and Advisory Committee on Infertility, SRACI, which was established in accordance with the enforcement of the Infertility Act 1984, completed a review of the Act in October 1991, and they recommended amendment of the Act with a particular focus on donor-conceived people's right to learn about their donors in identifying information. SRACI drafted the revised bill, and the Infertility Treatment Act 1995 came into effect on 1st July 1998. Under the Act, anonymous donation was abolished, and donor-conceived people could obtain identifying information from their donors at the age of 18 and younger with the consent with their parents or guardians. The Act also established the Infertility Treatment Authority, we call it ITA, which had the task of keeping records of donors, recipients, and donor-conceived people. Further, it established a voluntary register for donors, donor-conceived people, and their parents, descendants to voluntarily provide their information. In the early 2000s, the Victorian Law Reform Commission recommended in favor of allowing donor insemination for same-sex couples and single women, and this recommendation was incorporated in the Assisted Reproductive Treatment Act 2008, which came into effect in 2010. The Act also changed the name of ITA to the Victorian Assisted Reproductive Treatment Authority, BARTA, and transferred management of the voluntary and central registers from ITA BARTA to the Register of Birth and Deaths and Marriages. BARTA had conducted the campaign under the name Time to Tell. It has contributed to encouraging recipient parents to tell their children that they are donor conceived and to promote donor registration. BARTA also contribute to donor linking. Until this time, people conceived by donor insemination prior to 1998 didn't have the right to obtain their donor identifying information if the donor did not agree to disclose his identity. Donor-conceived people argued that this was unfair, and this issue was addressed in a report inquiry into access by donor-conceived people to information about donor. And the case of Narrabridge in 2013 also enhanced the social awareness of Victorians regarding donor-conceived people's right to obtain donor identifying information. This case is Narab was born in 1998, and when she was 15, she was told she was donor conceived by her parents, and she started to find her donor, and she just knew the donor's number, donor's code, and she tried to find him for about 15 years, and she got the genetic cancer. Yeah, and she eagerly wanted to find him, and she finally found him, and she met him, and after she met him, 6 weeks later, she died. And this case The media, of course, paid attention to this case, and this is promote and enhance the social awareness of this issue. As a result, the Assisted Reproductive Treatment Further Amendment Act 2014 was established and came into effect in June 2015. It retrospectively permitted all donor-conceived people to access their donor's identity without requiring donor's consent. Okay, next let's look at the situation in New Zealand. In New Zealand, donated sperm has been used as a treatment for male infertility since 1977. Prior to this, private OBGYNs and general practitioners arranged donor insemination on occasion. In 1970s, adopted people were expressing their need to have their right to know about themselves, while birth parents who had relinquished children and have never forgotten them wished to be reunited. In the society, people also gradually came to understand the adopted people's right to know biological parents and to agree with the abolition of forced adoption from the perspective of harm of children. This movement might have been affected by the Mario's culture. For Mario, Maori. Mario is a Maori culture. For Maori, it is important to be able to trace their origins back to the beginnings of life. The change of social attitude toward open adoption led to the Adult Adoption Information Act 1985, which was enacted in September 1985. The attitudes of clinics toward donor anonymity were affected by the change toward open adoption. Clinics began altering their practice so that now comprehensive records of donors are kept, including information about their donor's medical history and identifying characteristics and interests and so on. The Status of Children Amendment Act 1987 regulated the parent status of children conceived by donor gametes and embryos. It focused on the legal status of the parents. Like that, women who become pregnant as a result of donated gametes and embryos is the mother of children, and her husband shall become the father of any children and any child of the pregnancy if she has undergone the procedure with the consent of her husband. And then the man who produced the semen used in the procedure does not have the right and liability of the father of any child of the pregnancy unless at any time that man becomes the husband of the woman. In November 2004, the Human Assisted Reproductive Technology Act was passed, resulting in the policy of openness in New Zealand. It came into effect on August 22, 2005, and the legal register for record of gamete donation, resulting in birth was introduced. The Act has allowed donor-conceived people born after August 22, 2005, and over the age of 18 to access information about their donor independently of their parents or guardians under Act. So let me conclude my presentation. Both Victoria and New Zealand had incidents and movements to enhance social awareness regarding the importance of people's right to know biological origin. In Victoria, There were debates about the right of adopted people to have access to information about their birth parents in the 1970s, and the case of Naru Bridge in 2013 also enhanced the social awareness. In New Zealand, the open adoption movement led to open donation policy. Based on their experiences, I conclude that in Japan, it's desirable to have more open discussion on the importance of people's right to know biological root and stakeholders, including donor-conceived people, family recipients, donors, ordinary people, adoptees, and adopters. In Japan, still we don't have such a time, not so many such chance, so we need to discuss about this with others. In Victoria, BARDA has responsibility to undertake public education about treatment procedures and the best interest of children born as a result of treatment procedures. It runs educational programs and awareness events for the community, relevant professional and clinics. Through awareness campaigns such as Time to Tell, it also encourages parents who have had children through donor conception to tell their children about it. Based on this, I conclude that in Japan we should also establish an independent organization like a BARDA to support people involved in donor conception and to educate the public through public awareness campaign about the importance of donor conceived people's right to obtain donor information. Both Victoria and New Zealand maintain central and voluntary registers that store information of people involved in donor conception. Now in Japan, however, each clinic stores its own donor information, and it is reported that some donor records already have destroyed. At the very least, I conclude clinics should be required not to destroy this information until national policy becomes clear. And the establishment of the central register and voluntary register in Japan is also desirable. And about donor shortage and donor recruitment, both Victoria and New Zealand are struggling to secure sufficient donors. In Victoria, it seems that public awareness campaigns by BARDA are contributing to the recruitment of open donors. The donation campaign targeting recently gay men as a potential sperm donor. And it seems that enhancing the social visibility of infertile couples may improve in gamete donation and to move positive social attitude towards donor conception in Victoria. In New Zealand, sperm banks are recruiting donors in cooperation with clinics, and anyone can easily get information regarding gamete donation from the website of clinics and gamete banks. Easy access to information on how to donate naturally facilitates and improves in the number of donations. In Japan, infertile couples who need donated gamete are likely to come to overseas sperm banks or use online sperm donation. But there are risks to use of gamete donors from the legally protections or medical risks. I conclude that it is necessary to set regulation for approval of gamete bank and establish evaluation system of them as well. On the other hand, we should look for a way to get enough number of donors in Japan. It's also important to establish a system in which more people can easily obtain information about how to become a gamete donor. finally, it's desirable to target gay men or married heterosexual persons with their own children as potential donors. I think in Japan, donor anonymity should be abolished because these days the commercial DNA testing appears, and probably it will make difficult to maintain donor anonymity in the future. So I think it's necessary for the government to become involved in the discussion on the issue, and the Japanese should debate whose interest and welfare should be treated as a paramount in case of donor conception. Now people think the donor's privacy is important, but I don't think so. Children's well-being is most important. And it's also necessary to create legislation covering donor conception in Japan as soon as possible. Thank you for your attention.